Imagine you're at the circus. The show is going great. Acrobats are everywhere. The clowns are goofing off. Everybody's locked in. You got the chihuahua, no, not chihuahuas, the poodles. They're dancing, and everybody's paying attention. Then all of a sudden, suddenly, in the middle of it all, an elephant just strolls into the ring. No music, no announcement, no fanfare. Boom, there it is. What happens, right? Everybody stops watching the show and stares at the elephant. Doesn't matter what else is happening because the elephant just stole the show. Sales is no different. Today, we're going to talk about the second you bring up money too soon in your sales conversation, it becomes the elephant, the only thing your prospect thinks about. Today, we're diving deep into why talking about price too early, it's going to kill it, man. It's going to kill the deal. It's going to, or at least make it very difficult for them to engage when they should be thinking about something else. We're going to talk about how to perfectly time it for maximum impact. So that is the episode today. So stick around. It's going to be great. Sam Wakefield here. Super stoked to have you back with me for another episode. Before we dive into that, before we dive into the psychology and the brain science and everything behind it, what we're going to do is a couple things. One is what's in your cup. That's super quick. Today, of course, in my Close It Now branded Stanley cup from Tim Brown. Thanks, Tim Brown, up at Hook Agency. Make sure to use them for your digital marketing. They're rock stars. They are in no way sponsoring the show. I just like the guy, and it's a good company, and they rock. So they build websites and SEO, and they have a really, really, really cool product for your Google Maps. The best one I've ever seen. They will crush your Google Maps placement. I know it's kind of popular right now. So, yeah, thanks, Tim. So today, hydration. We got water. We're rocking out the water. I'm super close. They're getting much closer to my fitness goal. So make sure you're hydrating, everybody. Where are you in your fitness goal? So we got a lot to cover. We're going to make this what's in your cup quick. So 3, 2, 1, everybody take a drink together. All right. One, before we get into this episode, big housekeeping. The Close It Now, Relentless, the Ultimate Sales Transformation Boot Camp, right? It's going to be 3 days of life-changing, absolutely teaching you the Close It Now sales system, all of this. Big announcement. There has been a date change. It is now May 6th, 7th, and 8th. Working with my event planner, we had a little bit of issue with finding a venue. So now, May 6th, 7th, 8th, we're getting it locked in. So May 6th, 7th, and 8th, 2025 is the event. Get your tickets at closeitnowbootcamp.com. Closeitnowbootcamp.com. Get your ticket there. It is going to be fire. We are already, let's see on my board, about a sixth of the way there, or 10th, 6th. Either way, there's a bunch of tickets that are already selling. It's going to sell out. We're capping the room at 60, so it's going to be a nice small event. I know this is event season. This is not an event. This is a boot camp. We're going to role play. I'm going to take you through the Close It Now sales system. I have some absolute fire speakers that are going to be there also, and it's going to be 3 days of intensity. So come ready to learn. Come ready to practice. Come ready to have your life change, to go back to see the biggest explosion in your sales that you ever have seen until now. So May 6th, 7th, 8th, date change for the Close It Now Bootcamp. Relentless, the ultimate sales transformation. So go to closeitnowbootcamp.com. There is now a landing page up. So we've the website's being built. The event flyer should be out hopefully today or tomorrow. And I'm going to start blasting it everywhere. It will sell out, so make sure to get your ticket fast. I want to say there are a few of the buy one, get one tickets left. So there are, and if for some reason it doesn't show on the website, message me directly, and I'm happy to get you that link. But it's going to be awesome. So make sure to get your ticket, get there soon. and get it soon because it will sell out. So May 6th, 7th, 8th. Okay, that is the announcement for the boot camp. We're going to be talking a lot more about this in the future. Okay, the other thing that I want to cover real quick before we dive into this topic today is I've been getting a lot of questions lately about sales trackers. There's a lot of, so for all the different companies out there, our trades are really interesting, especially HVAC or whatever trade you're in. It's really odd to me that for a sales driven industry, right? We are a service industry, but it's driven around sales that nobody in our no one in our organizations has ever used an actual legitimate sales tracker. We developed these like goofy Excel forms and these kind of things, but nobody's ever used what true sales professionals in other industries use as a sales tracker. So I came across something recently. It is a program that I absolutely love. I immediately bought it for my company. This sounds like a sponsor pitch. This is not. Trust me, everybody. I just like this program. So message me if you want to know more about how to track your leads. The cool thing that it does, and if you want to listen to the founder, go back and listen to the episode that I did with Doug C. Brown. He is a follow up beast. He owns Sales Success Secrets. He has a great podcast as well. I've been a guest on his podcast. But message me, and I want to show you this, everybody. I'm going to do within the Facebook group. Go join the Close It Now Facebook group. Just search Close It Now on Facebook, and go join the group. I'm going to do a training soon on how to use this thing and kind of show it off a little bit because I bought it for my company and it has been the best thing since sliced bread. If you're like me in sales, we get kind of overwhelmed with leads and then we don't know where they went. And like, oh man, I'm supposed to follow up with that guy, but I don't remember, or lady, and I don't remember when or where or how and all these things. And we need a better way to track it. So that's the biggest thing I was most excited about. It actually has a way to track people in the flow of where they are in the process. And then it has a couple other elements too. So it keeps track of all your people, it keeps track of your leads, and it has a really cool follow-up tool. It's AI driven and it creates follow-up messages. You can do email, you can do text. It's really sick. So I love it. It is for both the individual. If you are somebody you're on your own, you have a small company, or enterprise level, right? If you have a bigger company, but you don't have a way to track things, let me know. Reach out to me, and I will get you connected and show you this program because it's just cool. It's totally sick. Okay. All right. Lesson again for when you're in your appointments, like what I've just been doing. Check this out. I've got a yawn coming. Oh, okay. So here's why. Okay, everybody. I left this one in on purpose. Got to breathe. Here's why this happens. If you haven't heard me talk, I think might have mentioned it one time in the past. This is your physiology, your health lesson for the day. Breathe. When you're in your appointments, if you find yourself like I just did, I was super excited. We launched into this podcast and I was speaking very fast. I was slumped over a little bit, didn't have good posture, and I wasn't breathing well in between my words. I was speaking too fast and forgetting to breathe. So, relax. The reason that yawns happen when you're in those and so many times we get frustrated, like, I'm not even tired. Why am I yawning? A yawn is your body forcing you to breathe to get more oxygen. So, as I'm breathing now, the need to yawn is starting to go away. So if you find yourself doing that in your appointments, slow down, take a breath, start breathing better. That means you're going too fast and you're not breathing well. And your body will force yourself to yawn to make up for that, to get oxygen in your body. Okay, so there's one more coming, and I think that'll be it. Here we go. All right. Okay, now that I'm oxygenated, let's keep going. I hope that's a helpful tip. I know it's goofy. Why are we listening to this podcast guy yawn, right? But it's important. This lesson is important because little things like that in your appointments, I actually have had people over the years because I'm very excitable. I have a lot of energy. I'm a big personality, and I've definitely can keep it in check now. But years ago, I wasn't able to. So I've had people over the years call me out on it and be like, "Man, we what are you so excited or what's going on, right? What's wrong with your energy?" So don't be that guy. Don't follow my mistakes, right? Take a second when you find that happening, fix your posture, stand up straight, make sure your lungs are filling with air and breathe. Okay, so let's get back into this content. This is today's topic is really important. It's the psychology. Talking about, we started with the elephant just walking into the circus. No fanfare. If you entered and for those of you that are younger, yes, there used to be elephants in circuses. That was one of the main attractions. And for everybody watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. But let's talk about the science behind the money elephant. This is important. So it has to do with the psychology of focus. People can only concentrate on one major thing at a time. So because they can focus on one major thing at a time, that's what they're concentrating on. If price enters the conversation before they understand the value, guess what? Their mind is going to lock onto that and not let go. So I know a lot of you out there have these discovery sheets or the comforts concerns questionnaire, all of these things with questions on them like, what kind of a budget do you have? Would you say it's below the certain amount, between 8,000 to 12,000, between 12,000 to 20,000, above, whatever? Or we will try to price condition them a little bit and say, well, most people spend, did you have a feel for what your budget was going to be? Most people spend between, say, 10,000 and 30,000. And did you have an upper cap of what you're wanting to spend today? Or, your questions could sound like, well, what would a monthly payment, how much of a monthly payment could you afford without taking food off your table? All of these things I'm going to tell you personally, and I know there's the Sandler system and all that say to price condition, do some price conditioning and to ask about budget up front. I would agree with that if people had any idea. Now, here's the problem with it. The average, and so I've heard several numbers over the years, but the average North American buys somewhere between 1.2 or 1.3 and 1.7 heating and air systems in their lifetime. That means they've never done this before. There's a good chance they're not going to do it again. They have they have no idea what their budget should be or what to expect, especially if you're the first person in. But even if you're not, we know because they get other quotes, it's going to be all over the map anyway. And of course, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably doing things much better than most of your competitors. So it's not going to be a competition anyway between you and anyone else. And here's the other thing: when they are, when we start talking about price too soon, right? They have so one, they have no idea what to expect. They have no idea what's going to cost, and we completely, just distract. That's all they're going to be thinking about. And so the expectation here is so wrong. So I'm here to tell you immediately stop talking about dollars before it's time to talk about dollars. I will stand on this hill all day long. There's psychology behind it. I know that there's other trainers that train that train talking about money at the beginning. What I can also tell you is they have not studied the psychology behind it. They got this idea from somebody else. Or the other problem with homeowner questionnaires is they were developed by a technician to ask questions that a technician would want to know to work on a house, to sell to a house. They're not developed by anyone that's thinking about brain science and psychology, thinking about what the people want to do in their home. So there's so many reasons why, but we're going to get into a little more science here. So it's the value versus cost mindset. When people hear a price before understanding the value, here's what happens. They immediately start calculating reasons not to buy. It triggers comparison mode. How much did my neighbor pay? Can I get this cheaper somewhere else? If you're talking about price at the beginning, they're thinking all of these things. So instead of thinking about, how the solution benefits them, they are only thinking about how much they're spending. So, and I mean, there's a good example, right? You go to a car dealership before you even sit down in the car, right? Of course, we're looking on the sticker. This one's this much. But when the person, an actual legitimately quality car person who sells a lot of vehicles, they're not going to do any of the weird tricks. They're actually asking about, ooh, what do you need? All of these things. What do you want to accomplish? Who else is going to be riding in the car? A real discovery. But then what happens? They want you to experience the car. They want you to sit in the driver's seat, feel the leather, smell the new car scent, drive it. I mean, I've heard Andy Elliott's talking about he would never sit down to negotiate with anyone if they didn't drive it first. It's the experience. The experience is everything. So, when is the right time to bring up money? When is the right time? We should only bring up the price and bring up money after value is fully established. Now, the timing may be different. And this is exactly why I teach the steps that I do, because I've studied brain science enough to know when the steps when the steps work, when the steps don't work. If something is out of order, like some client, some of my coaching clients right now today are their company sent them to a training locally, and they sent me a screenshot of this process from the book that they're going through. And again, things are out of order. Oh my gosh, things are out of order in the process. And I'm like, guys, why does your company even send you to this? But they, the individuals work with me. The whole company doesn't. So if you're in that company that's like doing some things that are oddball, you can still work with me. Just we do it directly. But at the same time, if you're a company owner, there's absolutely a better way. All of the training in the past is different than brain science. We just do things different because we understand how the psychology of how this works. So, what we want to do, like when should we present price? That's always a question. Well, when should we talk about it? Well, not at the beginning, because what we're wanting to accomplish is, so first of all, we've got to lead with the discovery. We've got to lead with introducing who we are. They need to know who we are. I mean, no wonder you get think about it. It's if you get to the end of the process and you forget to even introduce yourself hardly or tell your experience, and they don't know much about the company, or you wait until the very end to talk about the company and okay, buy from us. Well, we're asking for 20, 30, 40, 50, $75,000, however much. They don't even know who you are, or who the company is. So there's things that the steps in order that make so much more sense. So we've got to start with introductions. We've got to start with discovery, right? One of the, of course, and if you want my questionnaire, it is free. You've got to join my Facebook group. Join my Facebook group or message me directly. You can get me sam@closeitnow.net is my email. But I have a questionnaire that I've built that I give away for you. So it's in the files section in my Close It Now Facebook group. So go join the group, and you can download it out of the files. But it covers all of this stuff. So you go through the questionnaire. We're going through discovery. We're asking deeper questions. We're finding how deep the well goes for their pain points. And we're going to, of course, frame everything through the benefit lens. We're going to build value. We're going to educate. We've talked about this in past episodes. Go listen to the benefit lens. But, For example, and here's a good example of benefit lens, right? When you, so that's twice. I'm still counting my rights. If you listen to the other podcasts, I'm working on eliminating my crutch word of right. Feel free to call me out on it. I want to eliminate this from my language. There's no room for crutch words or filler words or words of uncertainty in your language and cells. If you find a word like that creeping into your language as a habit, immediately be intentional about removing it from your language. So, here is an example of benefit lens. A lot of people ask me, what does this mean? So instead of saying, let's take an air purifier for an easy example. Instead of saying this air purifier removes 99.9% of allergens, instead change it to something because we have discovery, we know some of the issues. Say something like, this means your wife won't wake up sneezing every morning and your kids will breathe easier year round. And they will let them connect the dots. Then of course, we can talk about allergens because it removes the allergens then and tie them together. This air purifier removes 99.9% of allergens. And here's one of my favorite phrases. So, what this means for you is your wife won't wake up sneezing every morning and your kids will breathe easier year round. That's the benefit to them. The rest doesn't matter because people really only, they really don't want to know how's it going to change their life. But so then when getting to price, we're going to only introduce price when they're ready. Until our stack of value is taller than the stack of dollars, it doesn't matter. But the minute that that happens, it's game over. The stack of value has to outweigh the stack of money. And so the right time to talk about price is when only after they're emotionally connected to the solution. Only when they're emotionally connected to the solution. And then we can bring up price. I know this is a little high level, and it really doesn't matter what you're selling. If it's, of course, HVAC, if it's plumbing, if it's electrical, if we're garage doors, if we are cars, if whatever it is, if it's California closets or irrigation, it doesn't matter. We can really only bring price up when they're emotionally connected to the solution. So that's the thing. And this is what most people miss. When we start talking about money at the beginning, it's the elephant that just wanders through, and we think there's an elephant on the loose, but there's no, then so because we know the elephant in the room is price. The minute it comes up, it's always price, the price objection. So as an example, here's how to handle the price question early, because a lot of times we get the questions of, when at the beginning, we're going through our process and like, well, how much is it? How much is it? Hey, we always get this at the beginning. It could be any point. There, especially depends on the homeowner, depends on the client. They ask maybe several times, how much is it? How much is it? How much is it? We'll get to that. I even had a homeowner. Here's a fun story from an appointment I had. We are pricing because I've always been very low tech. I don't want to be in a situation where if a battery dies on a tablet or a computer, or if it's cloud based, they have horrible internet service or something that I can't show a price. Are you kidding me? Or you got your laptop sitting there and the kid runs by and knocks it off the table, or a dog goes crazy and knocks it off the table and it breaks. Then what? Oh, sorry, my computer died. I can't do anything now. I can't price this. Are you kidding me? Why let that stop you from making a sale? Always have a backup. So what we did is we had a nice, really cool leather bound book that had our menus in it. We had menu pricing. It was great. It was like, do, 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 do. Here it is. Of course, for the final contract, yeah, we entered it in digitally and boom, digital signature here. But for the first glance and for looking at everything, for seeing pricing, of course, it's on a menu. A piece of paper can't run out of battery. So what happened though is I had my book sitting on the table next to me, and I'm having this conversation with the homeowner, and he reaches over and grabs my book and starts pulling it toward himself to open it. I grabbed that sucker back from him, put it on the table next to me and put my hand on top of it, said, "No, sir, we're not getting to that yet. Uh, it's not time. We have to go over some other things first before we can get to this." And he was like totally taken off guard. He's like, "Oh, okay." But the point is, you can't introduce price too soon. This is a true story. It absolutely happened. I was like, "No, it's not time for that yet." And we went on, ended up making that sell, of course. I say, of course. I mean, not every single time I was in a home did I make a sell, but I sold a lot of them. So, but we have to control when the price comes out. If we don't, we're hosed. So, how do we handle that when they say, what? How much is it? A couple of different ways to answer. One is, hey, great question. We'll totally get to that. Not trying to, not hiding it, but there's a lot of variables that go into that. First, we're going to look at everything. Like I said, we're going to go around and run some calculations. Then I'll show you exactly what the price will be, because we don't believe in guesswork. I'm not going to give you a ballpark because we don't believe in guesswork. We believe in doing things accurately and efficiently. So as long as you want something accurate, we're your company, right? Or there's a lot of variables. There's no way I could come up with that price right now until I've looked at everything, because we don't believe in guesswork. We're not going to guess with your investment. And quick side note, if they say something like, well, the other guys didn't look at that, or the other guys just gave us a price, we can use this opportunity to cast doubt on our competition. That's when we say, oh, what are they just guessing? Are they a magician? Man, if they're cutting corners on that, I wonder what other corners they're going to cut in the project on the stuff that really makes a difference. Why are they guessing with your money? It's a way to cast some serious doubt on your competition without ever talking bad about anybody, because that is crucial. We're not talking bad about anybody. We're just casting doubt on their approach. That's why we do more work around here than the other companies. That's why homeowners trust us, because we don't believe in guesswork. We don't believe in guessing with your project or with your investment. So I want to get everything exactly before I give you the price. Fair enough? And I've never once had a homeowner stop me and say, "Oh no, I have to have a ballpark," when you explain it like that. And I've been in thousands and thousands of homes, and at this point, I've been in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes during ride-alongs. And same thing, no one fights that when you explain it like that. So, all right. So another way to handle it, I'll be happy to do the pricing, but first, of course, the magic "but first" words. I just want to make sure we're looking at the right options for you. That way I can show you the best value for what you actually need. That's a great way to answer it too. Of course, I'm going to go over pricing, but first, let's make sure we're looking at the right options for you. That way I can show you the best value for what you actually need. So it's another good way to answer that. So giving you a couple word tracks, get the idea. Ooh, excuse me, I got a hiccup. Spaghetti for lunch. We're real and raw on this podcast. So I'm giving you a few word tracks. Make it yours. These sections don't have to be word for word, but you can get the vibe. Make it yours, but understand what you're saying. Understand the reason behind it. It keeps you in control, and it delays the money conversation until the timing is right. So once you've asked the questions, once you've asked the questions, once you've measured, once you've run your calculations, then it's time to present price. Once they're excited, now we've got the fanfare. Now it's time for the elephant to enter the room, and then we can talk about the elephant in a way that makes sense, in a way that they're excited about the elephant and not put off by all of a sudden there's this elephant of price cruising through the room. So, quick recap. Price conversation is the elephant. Keep it outside until it's time to bring it in. Keep that sucker in the trailer. It's not time to just come wandering through the living room. Build value first. So price feels like a natural investment, not a cost. There's a big difference there. Build value first so it feels like a natural investment, not a cost. And the right timing will make closing feel a lot more effortless. It's going to make closing a lot easier. instead of things being out of order and things not timed right. So that is the content today. It's this is important. You have to remember this. So we have a real quick before we wrap up. We've got some new reviews in. I want to cover. There's some really good ones. So this one is from Dennis. Let's see, what is this? Kabardin, Kabardin. Dennis Kabardin. Love this. He says ridiculous value, a 5-star review. I'm a plumbing contractor, and after listening to a few episodes of this podcast, my average ticket already increased. Woohoo! Congratulations, Dennis. One specific episode that helped me was the kitchen table versus van podcast. If you haven't listened to that one, it's important. Said I started creating my options at the kitchen table and noticed a huge bump in conversions. Why did no one ever tell me that before? Thanks, Sam. So you are welcome, Dennis. I am so happy that that has that's worked for you so well. It's huge. We've got to stay engaged with people. So Dennis, if you listen to this episode and you hear me read your podcast and mention your name, reach out to me. You, my friend, have just got yourself a free coaching session. So for everyone else, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Google, leave me a 5-star review. And if I read your review on an episode and you hear it, message me. You can hit me on Facebook. You can go to closeitnow.net and fill out the form there, or you can email me directly, sam@closeitnow.net, and you can claim your 1-hour coaching session. So rock and roll, everybody. I am happy that that has helped you so much, Dennis. Keep listening. Of course, plenty more great content coming. Also, quick reminder again, closeitnowbootcamp.com. Go get your tickets to the Relentless event. The date was changed to May 6, 7, and 8 in Boston, Massachusetts. It's going to be off the charts. It's going to be fire. Make sure you get up there. And I say up there, if you're already up there, it's just next door. I know we've got some people from the local area that already have tickets. So it is filling up fast. Make sure to grab your spot. Don't want you to lose a seat because it's going to be life-changing. So listen, everybody, if today's episode gave you an aha moment, do me a favor, share it with a teammate that needs to hear it. Share it with somebody that you know. Share this podcast. Get the word out. Go join the Close It Now group. Do a ton of free training in there. We do regular role play sessions in there. Just open up my Zoom room, and people that don't have, for all of you that don't have a regular training or way to role play and practice, come hang out in the Zoom, and we'll do it together. We pick one objection we're going to handle. I do a little tiny bit of training, and then we just role play and role play and role play. And so every single time somebody learns an incredible amount, and we are empowering you to go out there and make a difference in people's lives, make a difference in your homeowner's life, and then that will make a difference in your life. It'll make a difference in the company's life, and as your life increases, you can make a bigger impact in your family and your community. And it's truly how we win together. So it's all about being that person worth buying from. So everybody, thank you again for listening. I am grateful for every single one of you. Go be someone worth buying from.